How's it going, folks? My name is Nick. This is the Inverted.Visions YouTube channel, and welcome to another beautiful episode. I have a new little video series idea cooking up. Let me tell you all about it. I want to play every single Mario Kart game in the mainline franchise and determine my favorite tracks from each game. Let me lay some ground rules down here. So for each game, I'll pick my top 5 tracks. So by the end of this series, I'll have a list of 45 tracks. But wait, it gets better. Listen to this. The final episode will rank the best track from each game to determine what is the greatest Mario Kart track ever conceived, in my opinion. Also, each episode will be a mini review of each game. Pretty cool, huh? Last thing, I don't have a way to play Mario Kart Tour, and I don't really want to get into that one anyway, so I'll be judging the Mario Kart Tour tracks based on how they're represented in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And last thing, I'm going to be judging the tracks based on their original appearance, not any of the remakes. I plan on doing a video all about the remake tracks, or just my favorite remakes of Mario Kart tracks, so stay tuned for that, but for this particular video series, I'm covering the original iteration of the tracks. Hopefully that all makes sense. This is the beginning of In Search of the Best Mario Kart Track. I hope you join me on this Mario Kart journey. Let's have some fun. Let's get started with the game that started it all, Super Mario Kart. Roll the intro. So let's get started with a brief history lesson. Super Mario Kart was released for the Super Nintendo, known as the Super Famicom in Japan, on August 27th, 1992 in Japan, September 1st, 92 in the US, and January 21st, 1993 in Europe. That's about a year after the Super Nintendo was released in America, and around 2 years after the Super Famicom was released in Japan. Super Mario Kart achieves its pseudo 3D-like visuals using the Super Nintendo's patented Mode 7 to some really sweet effect, especially when playing the game via the BSNES emulator. This emulator can essentially make Mode 7 games play in widescreen, which is really sweet. Unfortunately, some of the tracks don't seem to play nicely with this widescreen feature, so in the footage, I'm sure you can notice some of these tracks will be in widescreen and some will be in 4x3. That's why I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way. The original F-Zero was a launch title for the Super Nintendo and used its Mode 7 to really wow early adopters with its speed, futuristic visuals, and rockin' tunes. Super Mario Kart is almost like F-Zero's younger sibling, with a lot of the same staff working on both games. While F-Zero is a single-player game and more concerned with mastering complicated tracks, Super Mario Kart is more of a multiplayer game where you use the game's items to your advantage to win. At the time, a super novel idea. Given the game's age and it being Nintendo's first try at a more casual party-like racing game, I think Super Mario Kart is good fun. Its gameplay is simple, challenging, and even on 100cc, the CPU puts up a fight. Last thing I want to mention before I talk tracks is this game's music tracks. Composed by Soyo Oka, a prolific female composer at Nintendo who has worked on games like Pilot Wings and SimCity, put together something really sweet for Super Mario Kart soundtrack. Mario Circuit's theme is classic and one of my favorite circuit themes in the whole franchise, and between you and me, the version in Mario Kart Super Circuit is my favorite. And also, how can you forget Rainbow Road's triumphant melody that set the stage for what Rainbow Road music was going to be for the rest of the damn franchise? It's just a great soundtrack that really set the precedent for amazing music in the Mario Kart series. That is my basic thoughts of Super Mario Kart. I think it's a great game. I think it's a really excellent entry point for the franchise. And obviously Nintendo, iterated and grew upon what they started. But for a first game, I think it's really fun. I think the controls take a little bit of getting used to, but they are really intuitive once you kind of get the hops down, and the game is challenging enough where it really puts up a fight even at 100cc. So those are my basic thoughts on Super Mario Kart. Very fun game. Now let's get into my top 5 tracks.
And now today's traffic report from Super Mario Kart.
It's a real race out there today, folks. People are driving like animals. The turnpike split in two, and a turtle shell is making travel impossible for one motorist. Over on the freeway, it's bumper to bumper, door to door, wheel to wheel, you name it. And check your rear view. Some blockheads are causing major delays. There's already been one accident there. And watch out over on I-94. A banana peel is making things a little slippery. And that's traffic.
With two-player split-screen action, you've never been in a race like this. Super Mario Kart, only for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. No wonder the best play here.
Number 5 is Choco Island 2. Aside from the great music and the awesome piano line, this track has a cool layout that shifts from that really thin path to a wide open mud pit with some option to snag some goodies. I also like how this course uses a lot of those Super Mario Kart bump things, so you're always kind of like hopping around. You gotta keep control of your kart, which I think is kind of fun. This track has a pleasant color palette and is pretty aesthetically pleasing as well. Super Mario Kart has a lot of similar tracks, but this one stands out, so it's going in the number 5 slot for me. Number 4 may be an odd pick for some people, but for me, it's gotta be Rainbow Road. So graphically and musically, this track is killer. I love the art direction for the Rainbow Road itself. I love how bold it is and how it stands out against that dark, starry background. It's really cool stuff. And on a side note, I like how in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, every Rainbow Road looks totally different. It's kind of fun to see how they interpret the art direction for each like Rainbow Road. Like the track itself, the rainbow always looks different. Anyway, this track is a bit lower for me simply because it's pretty damn frustrating. It's honestly just me not being that great at Super Mario Kart, but this track really gets me on edge. And I know it's lame, but I just enjoy driving on other tracks a bit more. Sue me. Hey, don't sue me. I don't have enough money for that. So this next track is just that. Number 3 is a track that isn't that difficult, but man, it's satisfying to drive on. It's Koopa Beach 1. Aside from the pleasant music and the classic Mushroom Kingdom beach setting, I really enjoy how Koopa Beach 1 is basically a collection of tiny islands, alternating from shallow water to small sandbanks. It's a fun idea, and I think it makes this track really unique. Using your hops and those little jumps are key to keeping your speed going. A fun, unique concept that I actually would love to see return in future Mario Kart games. We are in the top 2 now. Depending on the day, I could go either way with this one. But I gotta give number 2 to Mario Circuit 2. But before I chat about the track itself, I wanted to say a few words from this video's sponsor, Circuit Tracks. I feel like circuit tracks get a bad reputation in the Mario Kart community. Yes, they are usually a bit more basic, they don't have all the jumps and the hazards and the bells and whistles of the more difficult tracks, but I think that's why they're important. There's something about a pure race every once in a while. That sounds racist. There's something about a pure race every once in a while, and the circuit tracks in Mario Kart are amazing for a good, clean race. Now, back to the video. This track is so pure to me, a true classic, and as far as music goes as well, the melody is just so good. There's just something about this track's layout that has always stuck with me. I like that it has solid turns and a really cool jump at the end that overlaps an earlier part of the track. Yes, that's basic nowadays, but it's a really nice spectacle in Super Mario Kart, and the only track in the game that has this feature. In my opinion, really cool stuff. Alright, here we are at number 1. This is the track that I feel is a real fan favorite, and I'm in full agreement. Bowser Castle 3. I think what really elevates this course for me is its spectacular layout and intensity. Of course we have the thwomps, the jumps, the lava. That's all standard issue for King Koopa himself. But what I really love about this course is the branching paths. After the first turn, the path gets a little thinner, it's a couple jumps, but after the second turn, you're presented with jumps over lava, with there being a couple of options to take, which I think makes for a really fun and dynamic race. After a few more turns, this is where the most intense part of the track takes place. You have 3 options in this straightaway, all providing different things. The first with a jump in front of a dash panel, the second with jumps and item boxes, and the third with a single dash panel. These 3 paths are separated by walls that are tricky to avoid bumping into as well. After this is a U-turn and more or less another straightaway. I feel like this course is the perfect amount of intensity, challenge, spectacle, and just plain coolness. That Super Mario World Bowser theme remix for this track is just so sweet. So there you have it, folks. Those are my 5 favorite tracks from Super Mario Kart, as well as my thoughts on Super Mario Kart in general. It's a wonderful little starting point for the franchise, and a fun game to go back to every once in a while to experience where Mario Kart got its engines started. Bowser Castle 3 is top dog from this game. Hell yeah. So thank you so much for watching, y'all. Do you agree with me? Am I a mindless idiot? That's the name of Meat Puppet's song. Let me know in the comments, and do me a favor and give this video a like, huh? Also, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos about Mario Kart and other video game crap. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, great night, great morning, great afternoon. Just have a great day and take it easy. Until next time, peace.